Illinois taking down Wisconsin. I guess Wisconsin tried to take down Illinois seeding, whatever you want to call it. But Illinois, they won this game, and Wisconsin kind of, had the vibes there for a little while. They had the advantage for a little bit and kind of the momentum and stuff like that. But Illinois came storming back, and Illinois did what Illinois does best, which is play Illinois basketball. And they kind of baited Wisconsin into it. As soon as I saw Wisconsin trying to get out and run, I was like, no, you're not doing what Purdue did, which is the formula to beat this team. You have to slow down the pace. You're not going to win a running match with Illinois. And of course, they got into the running match, and Illinois just kind of took over from there. Sonny, I know you probably have so many thoughts on this game, and that was probably one of them. So I've probably taken one of your talking points. I do apologize, but what were your thoughts?
You kind of led into it. There's only maybe 5 or 6 teams in the country that can kind of keep up with Illinois on their best offensive day. And Wisconsin is just not one of them. The only way, I don't know if you were paying attention on Saturday, Nebraska was up 15 on Illinois. And I kind of posted up my bet slip of taking them live plus 230 because, again, what I saw was Nebraska was just trying to out Illinois. And that just never works. So they came back, they won. All 3 games that Illinois played, they were down double digits. And, we've come back to win both, like Ohio State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, 3 of the hotter teams in the conference. For me, as an Illinois fan, it was really nice to see that this team is really gelling together at the right time. We've won, I think, 7 of our last 8, with the sole loss to Purdue. It's just I talked about it on my show in the Illini Cast post game. This group of guys is, if you are familiar and you follow their story, it's a really likable group. And for them now, that no matter what happens next week, because obviously that's what's going to ultimately matter. Now that this group of guys is going to have a banner, some hardware that's basically always going to be remembered by the Illini history books, it means a lot to me because we were 4th in the preseason poll, I believe. We looked like we were a top 5 team in the country in December. And then, obviously the whole Terrence Shannon legal issues happened. We had to play 6 games without him. We had to bring him back, and we just kind of reincorporated. The team just kept developing and moving forward. And I can't tell the last time I had this much fun watching a basketball team. And, it's Wisconsin put up a fight. Illinois took their best punch, and they ultimately came out on top. Seeing Terrence Shannon Jr. finish 2nd all time in the Big Ten tournament points. And I think he's 2nd by 1 point, and yet he only played 3 games where the other guys all played 4 games. So it's just, we all heard the chants he was getting at the beginning of the game, and to hear at the end of the game, MVP chants throughout the stadium. I was super happy for the kid, and it's just one of the more enjoyable experiences I've ever had as an Illinois fan.
Yeah, were you weren't there for it though, were you?
No, I wasn't there.
No.
I'm at home. Yeah.
I have so many people who have gone to the games, and I'm losing track of who's been there and who's not been there. So, but yeah, no, seriously, a great night for Illinois. There was a lot to be made about, does Purdue even care about the Big Ten tournament? And, should they even care? And should other teams even care if they're already in? Yada, yada, yada. And at the end of the day, we can say some people don't care and some people do. But once you taste that victory, you taste that championship, it's like, yes, we care, and it's worth it. I think anybody would say they do. And I mean, I told Dick I would defend them. Props to Purdue for playing their guys and actually trying to win it, even when all their fans, and myself included, was saying, sit Braden. They still went after it because they wanted to win it. That's what that team is full of, and that's what Illinois is full of as well. They're full of winners and guys who are hungry for that. So, Brant, your thoughts on Illinois' win over Wisconsin for the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I know Sonny kind of already touched on this, but my biggest takeaway from the past 3 days of this Illini team is the way they've been able to take punch after punch, day in and day out. Sonny mentioned it, but they were trailing by 10 plus points in all 3 games. And the way that they were able to just battle back, stay in, don't lose sight, and, ultimately bring home a title to Champaign. It was encouraging to see, and gets I'd say puts my hopes a little higher for what this team can do in the NCAA tournament than maybe previously what kind of where I was at on them before the Big Ten tournament. I was really impressed with the way that it doesn't matter what the score is on the scoreboard, they're still in the game. So that was what really impressed me. The thing with Terrence Shannon, he just plays. I almost don't even like watching him play because he plays like a James Harden kind of style where he's just, sometimes it seems like he's not even looking to actually put the ball into the hoop. He's just looking for the foul. So it'll be interesting to see how that carries over. Not playing, in the Big Ten anymore. It'll be a different kind of play style. But I mean, he's been really, really impressive the past few days.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say was it felt like it was Terrence Shannon Jr. every single game, but it felt like you had a piece to Terrence Shannon Jr. to help him. I mean, what was it? Dane Danger, the first game, was kind of that piece. Luke Goody was the second game, which, I mean, I think it was only 12 points he had, but still all those threes he hit were at really big times when you needed something. And Seti, I saw you tweeting during the game, so I'm going to push back a little bit on you here, that you thought Luke Goody should have been out of the game because he wasn't hitting a shot. And I get that. But the amount of spacing that he was providing for your team to be able to get into the lane and do something, I don't think you would have got that same spacing with a Ty Rodgers, maybe a Justin Harmon, but Justin Harmon hasn't been playing well in the tournament. To me, I liked that Brad went with Luke Goody. I liked that he was like, hey, even though he's not hitting, he was hitting last game, and he's still a big enough threat that they have to respect him out on the 3-point line. And that's what I saw from Wisconsin is when Ty Rodgers was in there, they were sagging off of them and they were making it a little bit more difficult to get into the lane. But when Luke Goody was in there, they had to remain tight on him, and there were those driving lanes a little bit more. I'm curious your thoughts on that. Not that I'm saying you're wrong or anything, but just difference of opinion, if you have any further thoughts.
For me, it's the timing of it. With 5 minutes left and when we have the lead, if Luke Goody's not making those threes, then I want Ty in there because Ty gets those hustle rebounds. He'll get you a second rebound. He plays his butt off on defense. Luke Goody also, like if you recall, he got hurt in the first half and he was noticeably grimacing throughout. So I wasn't sure what kind of pain he was dealing with. Goody's kind of had a roller coaster season for us this year, and a lot of the fingers were kind of pointed at him in particular. I think it was the Penn State game because he tries really, really hard, but he's not necessarily a great rebounder. He's not necessarily a great defender. And so for me, with the conference title on the line, and, we had just seen Ty Rodgers get that offensive rebound and pass it out to, I think it was Goody or Damask actually, for that 3-pointer. I wanted Ty in there just because I think the intangibles that he provides is what we kind of needed to close out Wisconsin. I mean, when it comes to offensive guys, we have so many on our team that we can make it work. It's someone to do the dirty work, to get the extra possession, to make it tough for the Wisconsin guys to score. That's where my issue came in at the end of the game with 5 minutes left, with 2 minutes left. That's when I wanted to have Brad take Goody out.
That makes sense. I can see both sides of it there. Brant, we haven't really talked much about Wisconsin. I kind of made a little note about Chucky Hepburn. Was kind of sad for him to, if you noticed, did you guys watch the Selection Sunday when Wisconsin came up? Like the guys around him are all like really happy and he's just sitting there like literally no emotion. Like he's just sitting there. And I'm like, man, there's something going through him right now. He really, really wanted that Big Ten championship. And, unfortunately for him, he missed a couple layups. He missed a couple shots there at the end of the game that would have kept him in the game. And I don't know if, what the deal was, because I don't think he was pressured all that. It wasn't like Zach Edey was around the rim or anything like that, and Coleman Hawkins is a good shot blocker, but he, I don't think he was in that good a position to make it that difficult of a shot. But Brant, just your thoughts on this Wisconsin team doing really, really well. They struggled and then now they're doing well again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they did have that slump there where they went on a crazy losing streak just kind of out of nowhere. But to see them kind of, bring it back together to beat Purdue in overtime and then to have Illinois, on the ropes. And then, I mean, even starting way back if they went over Maryland, their first game, where they just absolutely blew the doors off them. It's encouraging to see them kind of hitting their stride again, getting a little bit of a second wind on their season. And Chucky Hepburn is probably, I'd say, easily the number one reason that's happening. He's playing insanely great basketball right now. So yeah, definitely have to feel for him. It seems like he left everything out there on the court this past weekend. But he's got another chance to get out there and go in it with his guys. Not going to be an easy path for Wisconsin. That James Madison team is frisky. So that's going to be a really fun game. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that here in a second, but definitely excited for them to potentially go out and maybe make it to the second weekend. I think there's a little bit more hope, like I said, with Illinois than I previously had for them before this Big Ten tournament run.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens with Wisconsin. I'm sure we'll spend a little bit extra time on all the Big Ten teams, but when we get to the bracket, I'm sure all of us will have our thoughts on that game. So, Sonny, we'll wrap it up here. Just any more additional thoughts on this game, this Illinois team, moving into the tournament? Anything there before we move on?
No, I mean, it was just fun watching the Terrence Shannon versus Storr battle today. You could see it was just two alphas going back and forth. Shannon was guarding Storr on the defensive end, which, I really respect that. He's such a two-way player, whereas Hepburn was guarding Shannon on that end. And it was good. This was one of the more entertaining basketball games I watched all season long. And I say that if you're a Wisconsin fan or if you're an Illinois fan. Of course, officiating got involved, but there's no game that we've ever watched where the consensus was the officiating was fine. But it was just a good game. Again, I'm really proud of Illinois, and Coleman Hawkins gets his three-time champ now to get back at the sleepers media guys. So it's fun. Again, ultimately, I just wanted this team to have that recognition, and now in the history books moving forward, they will.
I think Sleeper said they're wearing Coleman Hawkins jerseys tonight, so maybe maybe he'll feel good about that. So